They fought side by side against gods, monsters, and even time itself. Wolverine and Superman, the unbreakable claws and the unshakable symbol. But loyalty is fragile, especially when Wakanda calls you an enemy. T'Challa vanished, and Wakanda blamed only two names. Superman's heat vision was caught on satellite footage, but was it really him? Wolverine tried to protect a secret, one that could destroy mutants forever. And when Wakanda declared war, the world took sides. Allies became traitors. Justice was redefined, and betrayal came faster than a punch. There was a time when no force on Earth could challenge them. Superman and Wolverine, Krypton's last hope and the mutant who refused to die. One stood for truth and justice. The other clawed through lies and did what had to be done. When they fought side by side, even gods hesitated. But this isn't that story. This is the story of how it all fell apart. It started during the Ashfall Crisis. The sky cracked over the Atlantic, and what came through was neither alien nor God. It was older, deeper, something even Superman couldn't classify. A timeline parasite, feeding on futures. The X-Men were collapsing, the Avengers were scattered, but Wolverine held the line long enough for Superman to arrive. Their first meeting wasn't polite. Wolverine had a sword made of future metal in one hand and half a sentinel on his back. Superman landed like thunder. No words were exchanged, just a nod, then chaos. The battle was messy, beautiful, and broadcast live by satellites that shouldn't have been there. When the dust cleared, the rift was sealed, the parasite gone, and two legends had bled together. What followed was a year of quiet missions, off the books, the kind of problems that needed steel and savagery. Superman flew in from the stars. Wolverine walked in from the woods. They didn't agree on methods, but they agreed on results. The world got quieter, for a while. Then Wakanda went silent. Not politically, not diplomatically, literally. Satellites stopped seeing in, transmissions out were scrambled. The king hadn't been seen in weeks. T'Challa's last appearance was a blurry image at a UN Council meeting where he demanded the return of something called Project Godskin. No one at the table knew what he was talking about, or pretended not to. Within 48 hours, Wakanda issued a classified global alert. Target Alpha, Superman. Target Beta, James Logan Howlett. No explanation, no negotiation, only the message. They've seen what they weren't meant to. At first, the Avengers dismissed it. They assumed it was a test or a ploy. But then Wakanda struck a vibranium listening post in Argentina. It wasn't a weapon facility. It was a satellite relay used by Superman and Wolverine. That was when everything changed. Tony Stark went dark. S.H.I.E.L.D. pulled back every operative not born on U.S. soil. Captain America called a summit and didn't invite either of them. The message was clear. Whatever was going on between Wakanda, Superman, and Logan, it was radioactive. But Superman? He didn't flinch. He flew straight to Wakanda's edge. Not to attack, to talk. He didn't make it in. Wakanda activated something no one had ever seen. A planetary cloaking field fused with a red sun radiation shell. It hit Superman midair. He fell. Hard. Footage leaked. Superman bleeding from his nose for the first time in decades. Not down, but stunned. Not broken, but rattled. The world saw it. Everyone did. But what the world didn't see was Wolverine already inside Wakanda before Superman even left. Logan didn't tell Clark. Didn't tell him the truth. Didn't tell him what they had found months earlier, deep in a sunken vault off the coast of Mozambique. It wasn't just mutant DNA. It wasn't just alien fragments. It was both, intertwined. A sample grown in secret, hidden from everyone, even the royal court. Wolverine had followed a whisper there, something Professor X buried in his mind. A file labeled Weapon V, short for Vibranium Genesis. Wolverine found out that during the Infinity War, while everyone was distracted, Wakanda harvested a dying Kryptonian scout who crash-landed in the savage land. They didn't bury him. They studied him, and then they tried to replicate him, using vibranium as a biological catalyst and mutants as the base structure. The result? Not a weapon, Not yet. But something worse. A new evolution. One that could destroy both Superman's legacy and Logan's bloodline. A living creature, half Kryptonian resilience, half mutant regeneration, bathed in vibranium. It had no morality, only instinct. And it had already escaped. Wolverine never told Superman because he knew what Clark would do, tell the world. And if the world knew Wakanda had violated the sacred line between science and supremacy, war was inevitable. So Logan buried the data, burned the lab, swore no one else would know. But Wakanda knew. They watched. They waited. And when the data went missing from their sealed systems, they blamed only two people. The one with heat vision and the one with claws. That's when Superman started asking questions. Too many. Too loud. The final straw was in Singapore. A peace conference. Logan was there, low profile, watching Wakandan delegates closely. Superman landed mid-speech. Not to make a scene, but to confront someone he thought was a friend. Shuri. He asked her plainly, "Did you create life using me?" She said nothing. Security surrounded him. And from the crowd, Logan watched it all. He could have stepped in, could have stopped it, but he didn't. Because maybe, just maybe, Wakanda was right to protect what they made. And Superman wasn't ready to hear the truth. The fallout was instant. News broke within hours. Superman confronts Wakanda over bioweapon claims. Is the Man of Steel out of control? Wolverine disappeared again. And Superman? He started searching. Not for the clone. Not for the answers. He started searching for Logan. Because nothing hurts more than betrayal. Especially when it comes from the only ally who knew your secrets and chose silence instead. Superman didn't confront Wolverine. Not at first. That alone terrified everyone who understood him. When Superman didn't act, the world knew something was wrong. He stopped answering calls. The Watchtower received no flight signatures. He didn't go to the fortress. He didn't go to Metropolis. Instead, he went where no one else could follow easily. Into the places between places. Dead zones. Broken timelines. Forgotten battlefields where truth left scars behind. He wasn't looking for a fight. He was looking for proof. And every trail led back to Wakanda. Logan knew it before anyone told him. He felt it in his bones. The air changed. Animals fled. Old instincts screamed that the apex predator in the sky had stopped pretending to be gentle. Wolverine packed light, burned safe houses, erased trails. He didn't run because he was afraid of Superman. He ran because if Superman found the truth the wrong way, there wouldn't be a world left to argue in. Wakanda escalated quietly. They didn't declare war again. They didn't issue threats. They did something far more dangerous. They released information, fragments, carefully edited, out-of-context footage, vibranium vault schematics, paired with satellite images of Superman flying near restricted zones. Medical scans leaked anonymously, showing Kryptonian cellular instability after exposure to vibranium radiation. The implication was subtle but devastating. Superman wasn't immune. Superman wasn't stable. Superman was a risk. Governments didn't panic. They planned. Mutant communities didn't protest. They hid. The Avengers argued behind closed doors, while the public debated whether a god should be allowed to exist unchecked. And through it all, Wolverine watched the world prepare to do what it always did when it felt small. Build a bigger gun. Logan finally stopped running in Siberia. There was something buried there. Not a weapon. A memory. A backup of Xavier's consciousness he'd never accessed. Logan hated it. Hated digging into his own head. But desperate times made hypocrites of everyone. He activated it. And that was when everything got worse. The memory wasn't just a warning. It was a contingency. Xavier had known about the Wakandan experiment years before Logan ever smelled it. He'd foreseen a convergence, Kryptonian genetics, mutant adaptability, vibranium amplification. A being that could evolve faster than Superman and heal better than Wolverine. A being that wouldn't choose restraint because it was never taught mercy. Xavier's final note was simple. If Superman learns the truth too late, he will break. If he learns it too early, the world will turn against him. If Logan is forced to choose, he must choose silence. Logan slammed the device shut. Too late. Superman found Wakanda's secret graveyard in the Congo Basin. Not a cemetery, a test site. Hundreds of failed attempts. Creatures that burned out, tore themselves apart, or begged to die. Superman saw it all. Heard echoes trapped in vibranium walls. Felt responsibility crush his chest because his cells, his blood, had been used to create suffering. That was the moment something inside him cracked. Not rage, disillusionment. He confronted Wakanda again, but this time he didn't ask permission. He tore through the cloaking field. Alarm screamed. Dora Milaje mobilized. Shuri stood her ground, hands shaking, eyes wet with something that looked like regret. Superman didn't threaten her. He asked one question: how many are still alive? She didn't answer, so he listened, and he heard it. A heartbeat that wasn't human, a breath that didn't need air, a presence that felt wrong. The prototype wasn't gone. It was hiding, and it knew Superman was there. The attack was sudden, brutal, precise. The creature didn't roar or posture. It adapted instantly, countering Superman's speed with predictive movement, absorbing impacts with vibranium skin that rearranged itself mid-strike. It didn't fight like a monster. It fought like a survivor. Superman won, barely, but when it lay broken beneath him, regenerating even as its bones shattered back into place, Superman hesitated. Because for the first time in his life, he was staring at something that existed because of him. That hesitation cost him. The creature escaped, and Wakanda blamed Superman for letting it go. The world believed them. That was when Wolverine stepped out of the shadows. He found Superman hovering above the ruins of the battlefield, cape torn, eyes hollow, hands shaking, not from injury, but from restraint. They didn't speak at first. Then Superman asked quietly, "How long did you know?" Logan didn't lie. Too long. The silence after that was heavier than any fight. Superman didn't yell, didn't accuse, didn't threaten. He simply said, "You chose Wakanda over the world." Logan snapped back, "I chose survival." And that was when Superman finally looked at him, not as an ally, not as a brother in arms, but as something uncertain. The creature struck again before either of them could move. This time, it didn't run. It wanted witnesses. Cities fell into chaos as footage spread, an unstoppable being shrugging off weapons, adapting in real time, healing faster than Wolverine, hitting harder than Thor. Every news outlet replayed the same question on loop. Is this Superman's fault? Governments answered for them. A containment protocol was issued, not for the creature, for Superman. And Logan realized the nightmare wasn't the monster they created. It was what the world was about to do next. Superman didn't resist. That scared Logan more than anything else ever had. Because when a man who could shatter planets chooses not to fight, it means he's already losing something far more dangerous than control. They called it a containment, but everyone knew what it really was. A cage. The United Nations approved it in record time. Kryptonite dampeners laced into orbital grids, satellites weaponized with red sun arrays, and a fail-safe in orbit that could fire without warning. Not even Bruce had time to veto it, and if Batman couldn't stop it, no one could. Superman let it happen. No resistance, no rebuttal, just a silent agreement. The world was scared, and he wouldn't make it worse. But fear doesn't care about control. Fear feeds. Fear spreads. The headlines screamed louder than facts ever could. Superman's DNA weapon escapes, containment. Nations prepare for possible strike. Leaked reports confirm Wakandan experiment used alien genetic code. Did Wolverine cover it up? Logan tried to disappear again. He really did. But this wasn't the kind of storm you could outwalk. Too many eyes. Too many enemies disguised as allies. Too many ghosts. He ended up at an abandoned X-Men hideout in Alberta, one of the old ones, before Krakoa, before everything got complicated. He needed quiet, but quiet didn't last. Storm found him first. No lightning, no judgment, just a look. You should have told him. He didn't argue. There was nothing left to say. Then came the message. Not from the X-Men, not from S.H.I.E.L.D., from Wakanda. It wasn't a request. They wanted Wolverine back. Not for punishment, not for betrayal, for war. The prototype had evolved again. It wasn't hiding anymore. It was recruiting. Smaller creatures, malformed, unstable, but dangerous, were being spotted across the globe. Some believed they were failed clones. Others believed they were intentional. Weapons born from a single strand of corrupted perfection. And they were multiplying. Wakanda blamed Superman, but they needed Wolverine, because the one thing the creature couldn't replicate was the part of Logan that made him human. Wolverine refused, not because he didn't want to help, but because the line was gone. Wakanda wasn't trying to contain the creature anymore. They were planning to wipe every trace of the project, and that included Superman. They're going to kill him, Logan said. Storm didn't answer, because she already knew. Meanwhile, deep above Earth, in the watchtower once built for protection, the vote was underway. Batman, Wonder Woman, Martian Manhunter, even Green Lantern dialed in. The vote wasn't about guilt. It was about permission. Permission to neutralize Superman permanently if he lost control. It wasn't unanimous, but it didn't need to be. Bruce walked out before the count finished. Diana stayed. Her silence said more than any blade ever could. Then came the leak. A message intercepted. A comm between Wakanda Labs and a rogue IM cell. It confirmed the unthinkable. There wasn't one prototype. There were three. The first escaped. The second died in containment. The third, still in development. And it wasn't based on Superman. It was based on Logan. Not his body, his mind. A combat model. Bone core vibranium. Adaptive nerve regeneration fused with synthetic telepathy. Designed to anticipate threats before they exist. They were building it to kill the first prototype. But they weren't building it alone. They were using Logan's old Weapon X files. The same pain, the same torture, the same mistakes. It was happening all over again. And Logan finally broke. He went dark, off every radar. Not even Charles could find him. When he resurfaced, it was in Wakanda, alone. He didn't ask permission. He walked through defenses like they were suggestions. Every warrior who stepped in his path ended up breathing but broken. He reached the vault, and there it was, Tank 03, still growing, still learning. It opened its eyes the moment Logan stepped in. It didn't speak. It didn't scream. It looked scared. Wolverine did something no one expected. He destroyed the tank, burned it, not in anger, in mercy. And then he turned to Shuri. You're making monsters because you're afraid of the one you already made. She didn't argue. She just whispered, it's too late. And she was right, because the first prototype, the real one, the one they tried to forget, it had evolved again. Now it looked like Superman, moved like him, spoke like him. But it wasn't him. It addressed the world through hijacked satellites. This world fears its protectors, so I will give them something real to fear. It declared itself the new standard, a perfect fusion, flesh and metal, mutant and God, and it named itself Sovereign. The real Superman watched from orbit. He heard every word, and for the first time, he clenched his fists not in anger, but in purpose. Logan appeared beside him, somehow, cloaked in tech not even Clark could see through. You gonna stop him? Logan asked. Superman stared at Earth below. No. Logan turned. What? Superman's eyes glowed red, not with heat, with clarity. We are. That's when the alarms triggered again. Sovereign had made his first move. New York, Tokyo, Moscow. 3 simultaneous assaults. Drones, clones, chaos. And at the center, a small child, bleeding from the eyes, with a heartbeat identical to Kal-El's. Except this one didn't blink. Not once. Wolverine took out his claws. You get the sky. I'll take the streets. Superman nodded. No speeches. No hesitation. Because this wasn't about saving the world anymore. It was about saving each other from what the world had become. The world burned in real time. New York didn't fall first because it was weak. It fell because it was symbolic. Sovereign understood fear better than any strategist ever had. He didn't target military bases or governments. He went where hope lived: hospitals, schools, landmarks. He didn't destroy them immediately. He let the world watch as he stood there, hovering, calm, untouched, while weapons bounced off his skin. Superman hit him first, not with rage, with precision. A sonic boom cracked the sky as Clark slammed Sovereign through 3 city blocks and into the Hudson. The impact displaced water like a bomb. Cameras caught everything. The world saw 2 Supermen collide, identical in power but opposite in soul. And for the first time, the question wasn't can Superman win? It was which one should? Sovereign laughed underwater. Not mockery, satisfaction. "You see," he said, voice carrying through the river, through Clark's skull. "They already doubt you." He countered. Hard. Faster than Clark expected. Adaptation already complete. He learned Clark's rhythm within seconds. Every punch met resistance. Every move predicted. Sovereign didn't fight like a copy anymore. He fought like an upgrade. Logan was nowhere near the sky. He was knee-deep in hell. Tokyo was worse. Smaller spaces. Narrow streets. Sovereign's lesser creations poured in waves, unfinished, unstable, but relentless. Wolverine carved through them with muscle memory older than memory itself. But every kill felt wrong. Too familiar. Too close to home. Some of them screamed his name. Others healed like him. Then one of them spoke. "Father." Logan froze for half a second. That half second cost him blood. He recovered, tore the creature apart, but the word echoed. He wasn't ready for that. None of them were. Back in New York, Superman realized something terrifying. Sovereign wasn't trying to win. He was trying to teach. Every strike Sovereign took refined him further. Every blow Clark held back made him stronger. Sovereign adapted not just to force, but to restraint, to mercy, to Superman's greatest weakness. "You still don't understand," Sovereign said, hovering above the city as Clark struggled to breathe. "They don't need you. They need certainty. I give them that." Sovereign raised his hand, and every Red Sun satellite activated at once. The sky dimmed. Superman dropped. Not crashed. Dropped. He caught himself inches above the ground, shaking, power bleeding away. The crowd screamed. Phones shook. The symbol flickered. Sovereign landed beside him, untouched by the red sun. "Vibranium doesn't care about your star," he whispered. That was when Wolverine arrived. He didn't announce himself. He never did. Claws punched through Sovereign's back, vibranium screaming against adamantium as sparks tore through the air. Sovereign staggered, not from pain, but surprise. "You forgot something," Logan growled. "You ain't the only one who adapts." They fought together again. Like before. Like it used to be. Clark recovered enough to rejoin the fight. Logan stayed close, grounding him, dragging him out of the red sun fields when needed. For a moment, it worked. Sovereign bled. Not red. Silver. Vibranium-infused regeneration, struggling to keep pace. Then Sovereign changed tactics. He stopped fighting them. He turned to the city. He lifted a bus filled with civilians and held it above the river. "You stop me," Sovereign said calmly. "They die. You hesitate, they live." Logan didn't hesitate. Superman did. Logan leapt. Not toward the bus. Toward Sovereign. "You don't get to use them," Logan snarled. "That's my line." Sovereign smiled and snapped Logan's spine midair. Not permanently, but brutally. Calculated. Logan crashed into the street, paralyzed for precious seconds. Superman screamed. That scream shattered windows across Manhattan. Clark moved faster than thought, faster than restraint, faster than fear. He hit Sovereign with everything he had left. Not holding back, not protecting the city, just stopping the monster. It worked. Too well. Sovereign was driven into the ground, so hard the tectonic plates screamed. The shockwave flooded lower Manhattan. The bus fell. Clark saved it. Barely. When he looked back, Sovereign was already healing, smiling. "You broke your rule," Sovereign said. They saw it. Clark realized the truth too late. This wasn't a battle. It was a demonstration. Wakanda struck next. Not with weapons. With proof. They released everything. Project Godskin. Weapon V. Sovereign's origin. Superman's DNA. Wolverine's silence. Edited just enough to destroy trust. The world watched the footage while Sovereign stood in the ruins like a judge. Public opinion flipped in minutes. Protests erupted. Anti-Kryptonian strikes launched. Mutant communities were attacked. Panic spread faster than any virus. Logan dragged himself back to his feet as Clark hovered above the city, shaking. "You okay?" Logan asked. Clark didn't answer. He was listening. To the world. To the fear. To the hatred. And it was louder than he'd ever heard it. "This ends now," Clark said. Logan knew that tone. It scared him. "You mean him," Logan said. "Right." Clark didn't look at him. "I mean everything that made him possible." That's when Logan understood. Superman wasn't losing control. He was choosing. And the choice terrified him more than any monster ever could. Because Sovereign wanted Superman to break. And the world was pushing him to do it. Together. Logan had seen gods fall. Watched empires rise, collapse, and crawl back. But he had never seen Superman like this. He wasn't glowing. He wasn't floating. He was deciding. And that was more dangerous than any weapon. Sovereign wasn't fighting anymore. He stood still, head tilted, letting the world see their reflection in him. Power without conscience, strength without burden. "You created me," he said, voice echoing through satellites. "Because you refused to be what you wanted." Clark's fist clenched. Not because Sovereign was wrong. Because he wasn't. He could end it. Right now. One blow. No one could stop him. Not even Logan. Especially not Logan. And Sovereign knew it. But Logan stepped in front of him anyway. "You kill him," he said. "You give them exactly what they're afraid of." Clark looked through him. "He won't stop." "Neither did you," Logan snapped. "You think I don't remember? I've cleaned up after you. I buried what the world couldn't handle. And you're telling me now, after everything, you're ready to be judge and God." Clark's voice dropped. "He's not alive. He thinks he is." That landed. Sovereign stepped forward. "I'm not your enemy," he said, to both of them. "I'm your evolution." Clark didn't answer. He just closed his eyes and vanished. When he reappeared, he held something in his hands, the original data core from Wakanda's vault. Unedited, untouched, truth, the whole truth, the kind that didn't survive politics. He handed it to Logan. "Give it to them," Clark said. "Let them decide." Logan stared at it. "You sure?" Clark looked up. The world was still watching. "I won't become what they fear, even if it means they never trust me again." Sovereign lunged. This time, Logan didn't stop Clark. And Clark didn't hold back. But he didn't kill him. He unmade him. By destabilizing the vibranium matrix inside Sovereign's core. A flaw only Clark had the precision to exploit. It tore Sovereign apart from within. Not with force, but with forgiveness. The kind of mercy only someone who had every reason to be angry could give. When it was over, Sovereign was dust. The world waited for Superman to rise victorious. But he didn't. He vanished. No speeches. No spotlight. No glory. He left the core in Logan's hands. And Logan? He gave it to the world. Unedited. They saw what Wakanda did. What Logan buried. What Superman chose not to destroy. And for the first time in years, silence wasn't fear. It was respect. Clark never came back to Metropolis. But every time someone cried for help, the wind shifted. And Logan? He kept walking. Because some heroes don't wear capes. And some legends never stop bleeding. End.